Hey there, thank you for joining me. If you're new, welcome. I'm Angela, and today's topic is walking by faith. And I'm super excited because I get to interview my dear, dear friend. And she will share her story about faith. And you know, with my channel, with the podcast, we are big on talking about faith. We're talking about family, we're talking about life, and we're talking about love. So our focus, like I said, is going to be faith. And so I'm going to let Carisa, I just said her name, introduce herself, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Carisa, what's up?
A whole lot is up. I'm
Yay.
pretty excited, and thank you so much for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Faith is something I love to talk about. All your topics, faith, love, all of that.
Amen.
Because you can't talk about faith without talking about God and how He is, and that's really the essence of it. You know, allowing us to walk by faith, even from Him giving His only begotten Son.
I know.
So you just
right?
can't talk about it without talking about Him
I
and the focus being there.
And it's so funny, right? Because a lot of times people think, oh, it's so hard to walk by faith. You have to be this big giant of faith. You got to every day feel the same way constantly. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it.
If that's the case, I've been doing it wrong.
Right? We both fail. But we know that walking by faith is just simply just trusting God. Our thoughts can kind of get a little screwy, but reeling it back in and just saying, God, I trust you.
I trust you.
Amen.
Yes.
But before we get started, I need to tell you guys how Carisa and I met. So we met, oh my God, how many years ago?
Who's counting?
Oh, my baby was a baby. So I'm going to say maybe 11 years
Maybe
ago.
11 years ago
Right,
now.
right.
Because he was a baby.
He was still a baby. By the way, that baby is taller than I am. It's a shame. So, yeah, he was still a baby, and we were at the Baptist church out in Glen Allen.
Yeah.
And man, I was going through some tough times.
Yeah.
But I knew God was showing me that you were a person I could trust and that I could share what I was going through, because you know I'm not big on, I won't be telling everybody's business.
Right.
But you know, since I was going through it, I said, let me say a little something about it.
Right.
But to be able to have somebody to pray with me and to kind of walk me through that process with me, instead of it being like, girl, good luck.
Good luck with that.
I hate that for you. And so,
You know what I mean?
right,
So not
right.
when people say.
Right. That is bad. But I just praise God, because as much as we crack up, as much as we tell jokes, as much as we hang out and laugh about stuff, we're just as,
The core meeting was based on prayer and that ministry and how God orchestrated that.
Right. And now you're the head of that ministry.
Yes, I am.
Look at God.
Yeah, it's all Him.
Look at God.
He gets all the glory.
So when you see our interactions, just rest assured, this is normal. This is us.
Yeah,
we
this
are
how we
always,
cut up.
yes. We're not going to look too much at the camera, because we are engaged in our
That's right.
conversation.
We're having a conversation.
But so Carisa, take the floor.
All right. Well, my faith walk. I've always trusted God in the sense of, you know, should I do it, or just going and saying, I'm going to do this because I know He's got me. And even from college, I can go as far back to that as upon graduation in 30 days, I left Louisiana, left Grambling, and moved all the way to Connecticut.
How old is that? Would that be?
That would be, what, 21? I
Oh
don't even
my
think I was 22 at the
gosh.
time.
I don't think I was mature
think I
enough
was
to
that-
make a decision at 21 and 22.
Yeah, it was way back.
Right, but you're saying even at a young age.
Even at a young age.
Oh, you all should
Because I
know
trusted
something.
Him.
She is covered by a host of siblings.
Oh, yes.
The baby of how many siblings?
Of 8. And there's
You
just
see?
7 of us. So you know, count how many mamas and daddies that is.
Right, but you still felt confident enough to trust God.
Mm-hmm.
How many states away were
Yeah,
you?
from Louisiana to Connecticut. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Many.
Many.
I don't know. 6
More,
to 10. Yeah.
That's more than a day's drive.
Oh, most definitely more than a day's drive.
So you knew God said, you can go. I got you.
Yeah, I knew that He said you can do this. And everywhere I've been and every time I've stepped out in faith like that, He has covered the things that I thought I would miss the most. Like,
Right.
I don't have family, I don't have, this is really scary. Then you got a car that don't want to act right. And then it's like, what do you do? And so each step of the way, He made a way.
Amen.
And He's always provided me with a family of friends. And that's what I call my friends because they're my family.
Right.
You're my family. Your family's my family. Adopted these boys.
Exactly.
So I'm
Exactly.
auntie to them and all.
Exactly.
But He's always done that.
Mhm.
And so the more you do it, the easier it becomes because He reassures you and He lets you know, yes, continue to walk with me, continue to do these things and trust me. And, I trusted Him for forgiveness and I've made some really awesome strides in that area.
Right. Which we're going to talk
And
more about
like that
forgiveness
too.
on a different.
So,
Yeah.
So in all those areas, it kind of continues to increase your faith and your ability to do it.
Right. And to trust God because
Trust.
you know He hears you even though you're like, so
Yeah.
I have to tell you this.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you, but my oldest thought when he was about 3 or 4, he said, well, I'm praying, but I don't hear the big voice. That child thought God spoke through the clouds.
I remember that.
You do
big
remember
voice
that?
look. Yeah.
He was not happy. And that's what I love about what you're saying because you're showing how trusting God and having faith for these big moves, even for the small moves.
Yeah.
And it builds your faith, like you said, because wow.
And that's an excellent segue. Because 7 years ago, I had to trust Him for something bigger than I could even begin to imagine.
Right.
And some know, some don't. So since I'm new to the cast, I'm going to share from the beginning.
Right.
I started to lose my vision. And I could not imagine what in the world was doing it.
And with your
And
profession.
with exactly. Yeah, I've been in technology forever, I'll say. And embarked upon another facet of that from programming and technical support to project management and doing the green belt thing and everything around planning and structure. And when I started to lose my vision, I was like, what in the world, and it's a lot. I don't know, being a PM, that's a lot of capacity.
Right.
And so I did the eye doctor thing, then we went to ophthalmology and, even in the midst of it,
Right.
they were saying I had this rare disease that was like only a quarter of white women, and I was saying, okay, now where do I touch in this? So, with another subject.
Right.
But it was just really odd, but it wasn't fully that way. And then I came across another ophthalmologist because I wanted to get a second opinion.
Right.
And this doctor did 4 hours of an extensive examination. And every time he would say, well, you've had this done before. And I would be like, no, I haven't.
Wow.
And he was like, what? He said, I don't like talking about my colleagues, but I don't like it when we're not thorough.
Right.
So to fast forward, we went through all of that. And he said, you know what? It talks like a duck. It even walks like a duck. He said, but it's not fully being a duck. He said, so till we get a full duck, he said, we got to do something else. Go get a brain scan.
Oh.
And all this, we're a year later now,
Wow.
And I said, okay, got to trust that. So I did the MRI, showed some small meningiomas, little tumors. And I was like, that's interesting. But why am I losing my vision?
Right.
And so then he said, don't wait 6 months, do it in 3 months. And so the follow-up came right at the time when I was a part of another downsize. And it was like, okay, let's do this now. And on that visit, I thought it was just as typical as all the others I'd been through, is when the discovery was made that I had a huge tumor that had wrapped itself around my optic nerve. which is why the optic nerve was totally blown. And I was just steadily at a rate that I couldn't even believe myself, losing my vision in my left eye. It was just crazy fast. And so when he told me this and he started talking about all these things, and then I was like, okay, I had an event that weekend, and I was like, I gotta keep myself together because I have
things to do.
I've already committed to this, and so it's just like, you kind of looking and having this out of body saying, okay, you heard what he said. And
but you
so
didn't
when
hear
you do
it.
it, right.
I'm not gonna receive that yet.
Right. And so then the following week when the doctor, this was the funny part, when the report got back to my primary doctor, who had been my doctor for probably, I don't know, 16 years or so then, with a small break, he said, I want to make sure you understood what he told you, right? And I was like, yeah, I heard him. I said, but I'm looking online, I'm looking about another institute, blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, let me tell you something.
let me help you.
He said, what did he say? I said, he said 30 days. He said, he's the best Richmond has to offer. I suggest you listen. And so I went on from this is April, and I had already pushed it out to June. And said, I got to line my sisters up. Yeah.
Right. They need travel.
Yeah. I said, I got to get them their schedule so they can come. Yeah. That's that was my plan. Make God laugh, make a plan. Yeah. And so when he told me that and he broke that thing down to me, he let me know just how real it is. And then he sat with the other specialist, the neurosurgeon said, you are the bridge of your nose from losing your vision completely if you don't get this out.
Oh my God.
That made it real.
That is real.
It's real. So I said, well, God, I wasn't expecting that. But in the process of it, he gave me such a peace.
Amen.
Around what I was doing. And he gave me such good friends that were just there. I saw, he's always shown me his love, but I saw it on another level. My sisters who were like, okay, I'm ready when we need to be there, lining it up. And my best friend, who's no longer with us,
you look so much like
I
you.
know,
So
like twins.
I walked in that room and was like, why are you standing here? But you're supposed to.
But you in that bed over there.
Right.
You want to cut in.
But she came.
Adjusted
her schedule.
She adjusted her schedule so she could be here. And she talked to them and said, please let me go first because my kids are going to be out of school and I won't be able to go. But I got to be there.
Oh, I love your sisters for allowing her to be here.
Yeah.
And who would think and who would know in a few years later she graduated on to glory?
Yeah, graduated.
Who would have known? But she
would not have not have known.
The grace and the love for them to allow her to just, okay, that's our baby sister. You know how we are about our sisters.
That's our sisters. That's our baby sister.
Okay, we're going to let it go.
We know how much you love. See, that's why when I tell you about love, it covers a multitude.
Yes,
because they knew that she loved me enough that she was going to take
the
care and keep
that
them
they would do.
Exactly. And they were perfectly fine with her being the first one here.
I love it.
So it was beautiful. It's, again, trusting him. And I talked to so many people, chaplains and different friends. I remember a conversation with Jackie, and she was like, you know what? I think you're going to be okay.
You're right.
You don't sound like a person that thinks they're going to die. And I said, well, no.
Yeah. That
ain't me.
Look, let me check my calendar. That's not there.
That's not there. Yeah.
Oh man, but we do have we had, but you went through some things during recovery and surgery.
Oh my word.
We're gonna come back to that. We're gonna talk about this. We'll
talk about the ICU and all of that. Maybe that's where we'll pick up next time. We'll
pick up next time on that because
I tell you, it's been a journey.
Right. I just wanna encourage everybody that here it is. And I know you heard the words that she said. But when you're going through some stuff and you don't know what is coming next and you can still trust God, that's faith.
Yeah.
When you can look at your own self in your flesh and say, oh no, I have time. There's, There's no urgency.
I'm here by myself. I gotta have time to pull this thing together. I got a pen. I gotta take it. You line up everything
in
your head that you gotta do and you need time to do.
Yes.
And then he sends you that message that says,
That's why I tell y'all, lean not on your own understanding.
On your own understanding.
In all your ways acknowledge me.
That's it.
And then didn't he take care of everything else?
Oh my
Because
Lord.
everything lined up perfectly.
Had somebody to keep Sasha for 2 months.
Right.
I mean, it just it's falling in place. Not to mention the treatments after.
I know.
And every time.
I think this is going to be like a couple sessions. Because it's so much good news.
It is.
It is so much good news. And before we close out, I'm just going to say, I always marvel at the fact that we've known each other all these years. You never complain. You never, you're not a poor me, pitiful. And we talk about some stuff.
Yeah, we do.
We girls,
we go all the way
we talk
in.
about some stuff.
We go all the way in, yes.
But it's so amazing because when you couldn't drive to see me because we live so far apart and we just had to make those adjustments.
Yes.
Not one complaint. Not one, why God did this happen to me? Now, of course,
anybody know me know how much I like to go.
Girl,
and they said no driving.
You were like,
I had to learn how to walk up the driveway and no driving. And I'm talking over a year.
I know. I remember that. I remember that.
And
walking.
then say you can drive 5 miles.
5 whole miles because you could go.
That?
You could go to your pharmacy.
I could go to my pharmacy and back. Yeah.
But I just praise God, and so I hope that someone listening today will be encouraged that walking by faith. I mean, you're just getting the beginnings of this. Walking by faith, you never have to worry about what the end story is, and this is I love this because you already know the end of your story. Yeah. You already win. Yeah. You know? Win. And so I love that if we can just remember walking by faith, you remember, flip to the back of that book. Oh, there it is. I win. Right the end. I win. But there's more win for you. There's so much more to this story. So I can't wait until we meet again and continue this conversation.
Yeah,
I'm
looking
so
forward
glad
to
you came.
it.
We got our tea and our coffee.
Yes,
I praise
that's
God.
nice. I praise, and He gets all the glory.
Oh, He does.
Because it's not always easy to walk by faith.
It's not. It's scary.
It's a choice.
Mm-hmm. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
It is a choice.
That's what it is.
God knows it is a choice, and He never fails. He never fails. I tell you, we got some talking to do.
Yes, we do. Girl.
We're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna ask you guys to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you go to the YouTube page, Always Angela or Angela Sneed, either way, and make sure you sign up. Make sure you click the subscribe button at the bottom of the YouTube channel, and just join the conversation and leave a comment. What is your one question for our woman of faith? What is your one question? And we will address that. So be blessed. I'm looking forward to us meeting up again. Remember, join the conversation. We're always going to talk about Christ. We're going to add some jokes to it because I'm a funny person. I can't help myself. That's right. No cliches. No judgment. Just the way it is. We just keeping it real. Just the way it is. Well, to God be the glory. We will check in with you next time. Yay. That was fun. That was